Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I am late. Somebody wrote down that I'm late. Yes, I was sorry, but I'm here. How you guys doing? I'm live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you all? Did I just hear a sigh? My husband has been so annoying. So annoying. I'm gonna turn into a Godzilla. Seriously, against him. I'm gonna buy him later. Hello. Thank you for the super chat. Founders had the founders of foreseen the future, they would have written a very different Second Amendment, a well protected public. Oh, another super chat, thank you. Being necessary to the security of a free state, the duty of the people to keep and bear arms shall be enforced. I'm not too familiar with the original, like the current one, so I'm not too sure. I'm too Japanese. But that's good that you're thinking about it. Speaking of guns, though, by the way, I saw the news of Hunter Biden. There are some developments, right? About that the plea deal is not working, like they dropped it or something. And I saw the news, like it's on our newspaper, right? But yeah, when I was I tweeted this out, not tweeted it, I xed it out. But yeah, Hunter Biden, one of the alleged crime that he committed is what, the possession of guns, right? Like illegal possession. And I'm like, guns? Like he has guns? Like, you know, being a Democrat and, you know, he's supposed to be against the possession of guns, and he has it, even illegally. And why are the gun control people silent on that? Like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Hello, Yoko and Hide. Hello. No first, but second. Yay! That's good. There's a band that you might like named Demon Hunter. Oh, I am familiar with the name. I can't remember their song, but one of the bands that I was listening to, I believe. They have 12 albums, including a double release in 2019, all of them, which I enjoy. That's cool. I forget what kind of metal that is, though. I basically enjoy thrash metal, heavy metal, melodic death metal. Um, what else? Technical death metal. Progressive is my most favorite kind, but yeah, there are many different kinds of metal. Or new metal too. Yes. I'm not liking the One Piece Netflix adaptation, and Luffy's actor looks nothing like him. That's true. That's true. Netflix writer is also anti-Trump, left-leaning. Oh no, his name is Steve Maeda, half American, half Japanese. That's what happens, you know. Mostly when Asians live in or raised in America, like they tend to be somehow liberals, or I guess that they are raised in like California and other like liberal states, so that's the natural move. But however, like Koreans and so on, like there are some like very Christian based people too, so I guess that's different. But yeah, that's interesting. I've never even watched or read One Piece, so I'm not familiar with the story. But I did see the trailer of One Piece though on Netflix. It looked cool to me, but it's sad to see that there are some frustration already piling up. I see. I see. As Musk tweeted, tweeted though, the woke mind virus is making Netflix unwatchable. Yeah, like it's like the other day, like I've been playing mobile games a lot lately, and so I'm not checking in Netflix as often as I used to. But just the other day, I went on there just to see what's going on, and I realized like things look so like a like it's like a porn, you know, the shows that are recommended for me are like porns or some fetish of like gay and so on. And it's like when I look at it, it's cool in a way. Like if you look at Netflix with the eyes of like artsy mind, you know, if you look at it as an art, then there's a certain degree, you know, of like you can agree to a certain extent. But like if you just watch, I mean, look at the platform and the content as, of course, as TV shows or so and so on, or movies, then that's just socially wrong. You know, it's so like it's great that people are open to, you know, sexuality and so on. You know, coming from another country, I think that it's a great thing, but at the same time it's just too much. Like why, like over here in Japan, feminists are complaining about our manga, like comic characters or comic based posters. You know, we have public posters, and they often have like cute girls, you know, in uniform, school uniform, and then big boobs or something, and feminists complain to that. If you look at Netflix, it's like naked women and naked girls. It's so crazy. Like what kind of world do we live in? Like both are so extreme, you know. In Japan it's about against comic books and so on. In America it's just, it's overly done. Even Rihanna's music video, like was it like a decade ago? Like I don't even remember. But one, I know that I've said this before, but I used to listen to Rihanna, you know, the singer, and Pondely Play and so on. Like I really liked that tune. I liked her, but then one day she posted like her, I don't know, like her music account posted this promotion or what's called like a music video, and like all I saw was like a porn, like shaking the butt in the wrong, like weird way, like very sexual way, and I couldn't watch it. You know, it's like I don't want to see you that way. You know, so it was so awkward. Like, what is happening? Seriously. Hey all, hello. I thought I was late, but looks like Yoko is late. Yes, I was. So much for punctuality in Japan. I'm always early though when it comes to like political events and so on. It's so amazing. I was just thinking about it this morning actually when I was getting ready. That I used to be late for everywhere, you know, school, work, all this political events. I was always late. But I guess that my mentality became kind of calm and stable. Just that when it comes to online streamings, I'm a little too casual still. Like it's, I don't know, it's just me talking in my room. So I guess I need a little bit more like I need to be a professional. But anyway, sometimes I'm meant to be broken. You're kind. Thank you. Genki desu. Genki desu. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so happy that back in April and May and continuing to June, my health state was really really bad, but I came back, you know, renewed. Like I feel like I, you know, recreated my body, you know, throughout the term. So I feel really energetic and so on. Like it's really hot here, you know. I know. Oh man, I have to refer to Hawaii. What happened to Hawaii on that island is devastating. It's so, like it breaks my heart. I saw the footage, you know, of the aftermath of the wildfire. Uh, I don't know how it was caused. Is it because it's so? Is it dry there? Because I don't think it is. It is. Is it? Like, yeah, it's so sad to see that. You know, man, my heart and prayers go out to those who are affected by the wildfire. I hope that I am grammatically correct. Like I really feel sorry for them, yeah. You're looking elegant as always. Oh, thank you. I try, but I have to renew my clothes. Like I'm wearing this for years. Like this is only like $5. Like H&M, I think, and I need to renew it. Like I'm getting older, and I'm still dressed like I don't know, somebody young. Huh. Aloha, aloha. No Billy Rub for your producer, for the producer. Yeah. Where is he, by the way? He was just here in the kitchen, and I don't see him. I'm at Hollywood Bowl's concert, so I can't do politics right now. I see. Hmm. Hunter Biden is being protected with it's under investigation. We can't talk about it. Won't be resolved until Biden is out of office. Yeah, isn't it crazy that they are like the left has double standards, like they are so critical of Trump and not so much of Hunter Biden. Like they ignore Hunter Biden. It's so crazy. Like like aside from politics, like why can't you be like that? Hmm. Everything is in Spanish here. What do you mean? Oh, Hollywood Bowl's concert. What is Hollywood Bowl concert? um like lots of lots of gigs. I'm not too familiar. Lots of Spanish. That's cool. It's on the video and photos. He threw the gun in a trash can near our school. I think. Wow. Yeah, I also X this, but there's a photo of Hunter in this newspaper today, and I looked at his like headshot, right? And I'm like, who is this? It says Hunter Biden, but wait, like I thought he was looking in a different way, and I realized that he's dressed. Because he's dressed, he looks like a different person. Because I'm so used to seeing the picture of him like smoking and with a girl, and him being naked and so on. And so I was not used to seeing him in like suits and tie. And yeah, it's odd because I live in Japan. I am Japanese and I live in Japan. So, and it's kind of crazy to think that I know about, like, I've seen a naked body of another country's guy, all the way from here. Like, it's so weird when you think about it. American news is a world news, just so you know. 太宰府市青葉台から見ています。この間、自衛隊の前ですれ違いました。ちょっと待って。ご主人と一緒で知った。画面で見るより美人で驚きました。声かけてください。なんだそれ。Oh my god. So, this comment says that she's watching from another city, from my prefecture. But she said that she saw us together. She saw my husband and I together in front of the self-defense force base. I'm like, why did you talk to me? Oh man. Yeah, that's the thing. Like people see us, sometimes, and they just see us, but then they don't know if they should talk to us, and then pass us by. Wow. Hi, Yoko. Hi. ありがとうございます. I find it hard to watch new shows to walk. Yeah. Seriously. I can tolerate what's it called? Riverdale. Riverdale is very woke. There are lots of LGBT going on and feminism, like, like girls' power. But then it's very beautiful, in a way that like how they created the show, like how do you say, like the quality of all the shooting and the actresses, their fashion and makeup and the tone and their skills of acting. Like, I think that show has a good quality, but there are other shows that are too extreme, like sexually, and I, I I come from another country, another cultural background, and I love all this, like, like, I can, even though I'm conservative, I can still enjoy liberalism, or kind of woke ideology. But then even I cannot handle some of the content seriously. Like, I guess that the left is so obsessed with this woke ideology that they don't know the level. They don't, like, they think that they want to be good, in their standards. That's them being good. So they want to be good and be praised, so they try so hard, but then they don't know how much they can go, and they go very, very extreme. Hmm. What is the point? Import. I don't know. Everything that humans create, there's a beauty, in everything, I think. But I see, no, no. Marcus hate beauty. That's true, because they destroy traditions and all this great culture. Like what happened in China, in the Cultural Revolution, lots of amazing writers and artists and professors, and like they were killed. Such a loss, such a loss. I don't need to see people. Exactly. Like every time I see like a very sexual scenes on Netflix shows and so on, I I I I always think about because I'm a creator myself. I always think about how they shoot. What is it like on the set? It's just awkward to think that they're doing all this sexual thing and other people are just doing the job. Oh yeah, do you like this and that, and like that's like porn. And I'm not against porns, like how do you say, like, entirely, because it's still a job, and there, I guess the industry is there sustaining our economy as well. In a way, the addiction is a problem, but you know what I mean. But then, yeah, when you think about it, it's weird. And I think that it was the main actress of Dynasty, like the remade version on Netflix. There's a show called Dynasty, and the main girl was saying in an interview that they had to do that like entire day. This one is sexual scene, and then they shot so much, but then they use only a bit of that. So she was wondering like what for, and there was something like that. So I'd love to know like what's behind the scenes. Oh, super chat, thank you so much. Hi, I have a question for Japanese culture. I understand lines are formed naturally a lot in real life. Oh yes, I watch a lot of anime and always see in ages high school cafeteria students are maniacs and don't form lines. Is there any truth to this? First of all, in high schools, usually we don't have cafeteria. Usually, or wait, some do, I guess. It depends what kind of, like, is it private school or public school, that makes a difference. And my local area, by the way, was my experience is that you can buy stuff at the store in school. I don't remember if there was a space to eat together though. Like we all ate our lunchbox brought from home in classroom. That's what we did. And I guess the I don't know, private schools might have cafeterias, or some public schools in other prefectures might be different. But I guess the depiction probably is the reflection of just kids being very free and open and very genki, like very energetic and so on. And so it's not really about the reflection of like a common culture here. Even kids or younger kids, they form a line in public here, and like starting from a very early age or stage in life, we are taught to act well in a group. That's that's our education here. Like, form a group, and then you think you you are not like you're not allowed to be selfish. You always have to think about the public or the others. Like a one for all kind of spirit is taught to us. And so, yeah, but I think the Japanese people do form a line very well. And then there's this myth that if there's a line, like a long line to a ramen restaurant or something, and then that must be good because people are lining up. It must be good, right? And then so people get in the line and so on. So that's a interesting psychology. Me, I'm a weird Japanese, so I don't like to be in the line. So my husband and I, both of us, like we have a short temper. Like both of us have short temper, so like, we can't stand in line. So like we go to other places when it's crowded or when there's a long line. But yes, thank you so much for super chat. That's very interesting that you care about that side. Japanese feminists you describe are much hypocrites as here in the US. I hope the anime writers never bend the knees to the wokeness. Yeah, that's. I think the Japanese people are very. It's so interesting how we have the majority have common sense. Uh, yeah, but as we go through all this natural disaster, like in Hawaii, for example, there was wildfire, and before that, like California and also Australia, wildfires going on. But in Japan, it's been our problem has been heavy rain, and lately, very recently, it's been typhoons happening. Like it's the third time I think that is happening, like over like within this week or so. It's crazy. But so as that happens, we just have to be one. We have to think about this typhoon and all this natural threat together, right? So that brings us into one. So I was thinking about it actually today, and I was comparing that to the US. The US is so huge, and it's the United States, and it's not like it's one country, but not really in a way. And individualism is there, but and right now, because of that, like the all these culture different values, different cultural backgrounds, people are kind of separated. And also politically speaking, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But if you look back in history, like when there was Pearl Harbor, like I don't like to talk about it because I'm Japanese and I have my standpoint. But for Americans, it was a sneak attack, which I don't believe, but sneak attack. And then that brought Americans together, and 9/11 happened. Americans became one. And so like when there's this one threat which people are all against it, the US is united, right? And huh, huh. And so yeah, I think that natural disasters, even though it's horrible and it does kill people, and all I can do is pray and also be, smart about it, to avoid getting affected beforehand and so on. We can think about that. But at the same time, we are learning so much from, all this common threat, right? In this country. So I feel like the US needs something like that. Hmm. Yes, my husband just came back and said like, "Did you check that super chat?" これ見た日本語のコメント。青葉台から見ていますか。出てない？さっき出したんだけど。ちょっと古い。あら、この間自衛隊の前ですれ違いました。He's surprised. ご主人様びっくりです。Hey Yoko, long time no see. You're early today, am I? I'm kind of late though, but thank you, thank you for coming. You're always late. I would say that anime has quite a lot of for fan service with sexual themes in school life. I miss fantasy adventure. That's probably why classic anime is my favorite. I want more of that. That's so true that it's a fantasy. Yes, like at least in comics and anime, like we should be free, right? It's all this culture, even like black people's music and so on. Like it's amazing because they suffered a lot, you know. Yeah, all this amazing artwork and music, they come from um, the hard times, because we humans, when we are in all this very hard times, we try to see the hope and try to push ourselves forward. So that happens. And speaking of black people, and that leads to me in my head like white guilt, you know. I think that Fox News recent videos showed that people are turning into, like, coming back to common sense, and that was interesting. And I was thinking about how sports is it's very, very connected to, like, economy. And there are, like, basically, like, it's the same for musicians, but their customers are everyone, right? And if you and actresses too, like, if you are biased, if you show political opinions, then you're gonna lose your customers. And then that cannot you are lucky if you can sustain the system or cycle, but if you do that, usually you get boycotts and so on, and or just criticism, and then you fall. So you don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what I thought, while watching that. And speaking of that, now I remembered about our controversy here in Japan, which is about fireworks. Our like local administrations often hold like firework events. So many people wear our traditional costume and then go to the event. It's like in summertime we enjoy fireworks here. So that's what happens around this season. But in this one particular place, they charged the people to watch the fireworks. It's usually free, and it happens in a park and so on. So people can just come, and they can see the fireworks for free, right? But this firework place, uh, oh, hi. He's he's referring to that, but let me finish up first. Yeah, this firework place built a fence, and those who paid for, what was it, like, over $100, I think. It's expensive, and then but they have to pay to see the fireworks, like, in a beautiful way. But if you don't pay, you are not allowed to see the fireworks. So they built a fences, and it's even like very high, or I mean tall. So, and people are sneaking in still, but like that is very bashed so much as like a economical gap. But then at the same time, in order to hold a firework events, you need so much money, like so much. It costs a lot. So especially if the firework event is very gorgeous, so it costs a lot. And then it used to be, it used to work because there were lots of corporations or companies, that give donations to that event. That was a great chance for them to sell their names. But the economy here is really, really bad. So what I see is a reflection of our bad economy, not the economical gap. And at the same time, though, because our economy is bad and there's that gap can be real, turn into real. So that's a problem that I see. So we like, even national security wise too, like we just need to, fix our economy. Even our birth rate declining, it's due to our economy. It's all economy. But then economy, it's tied with China and Russia. So like we are in this turning point, I think, in that we need to make a very smart decision right now. I think we are doing, but it's gonna take a while. So in the meantime, the problem is, or our assignment is that whether we can bear in that during that period. I think. Anyway, I ramble so much. Thank you for super chat. Oh my gosh, there's a viral Chinese video on TikTok of a white girl turning down a proposal realizing the hard life of marriage. Ooh, interesting that China wants to convince Westerners not to get married while pressuring their own people to do so. Oh, I see. Because they want to spread the Han tribe, right? And they don't want to mix the blood. It's interesting because their ethnic cleansing that's happening, in the colonized areas by China, like they usually, you know, make them like Chinese men, like what currently, like for example, in two Uyghur people, East Turkestan, which CCP is colonizing right now. What happens is that the women are forced to marry Chinese men so that the children will be less Uyghur and more Chinese, right? Like if you keep doing that. So that's how they do the ethnic cleansing, part of it. So I guess that they don't want to do the opposite. That's interesting. But I hear that many like young people are not getting married, right? I mean, I guess that's why you brought it up. But um, hmm, that's interesting. Japanese people, by the way, we don't have that sort of, I don't know, recognition. We don't talk about like international marriage at all. But what's interesting is that I studied English in this language, this University for Language Studies, and there were lots of women, right? Just like myself, lots of females studying English. They are actually fluent, and some speak more than one language, two or three languages. They were studying it, and they were doing a great job. And they studied abroad, right? And some were dating foreigners, like foreign students. So I thought, like, oh, they're gonna all get married with foreign guys, right? But then it turns out that they are marrying their own kind. Like there were even Korean people there, that are based here, and they like years later I saw like my friends getting married with like Korean men. And then my friends that have studied abroad, they're married with Japanese men. Like, well, that's very interesting. Right? Like the government here doesn't even have to pressure the people here. I guess that what often happens to Japanese people is that once we are out of our country, we realize that how much we are given in this country. So then they go inward. That's what's often said here. Not the case for everyone, but just generally that happens too. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the bottom because I'm so slow. Oh, super chat. Thank you. Get around to making Trump anime. Probably say, oh, that's a good idea. Huh. Somebody should do that. Even up to the current time, not about the future, but like what he has done so far. If someone made anime of that, that would be like I would watch it. Like I don't watch anime, but I would watch that. That's a good idea. Interesting. Japanese are largely racially pure. Yeah. What's interesting is that, as I talked about this, I think last week, I recently went to Tokyo and there was this forum, about post Russia, after Russia ruptures. And there was this woman that I talked to there, and she's a her blood is Mongolian. And then I was talking to her, and she was very much enjoying Japan, visiting Japan. Aside from the forum, she was very excited to be here. And my husband asked her, like, what do you like about this country? Why are you so impressed? And she was like, oh, because like, you know, like seeing Asians having this country, this big country, and we are all basically one tribe. And she was fascinated by that. And I never looked at it that way. Of course, like China, South Korea, North Korea, like they're all like basically the same race, right? China is very complicated because they are colonizing, but like right now the majority are Han tribe. But anyway, so like that has been like I've never seen my country that way. But at the same time, it's true that the majority, or like without, like China's history, for example, is very complicated because one dynasty ends, then they have like all this distraction and what you call like vandalization, and all this culture and blood ends there. And then like if you look at the race, like it changes, or the ratio keeps changing. And it's the first time the Han tribe is now strong, but it's the first time in history, I think, if I'm right. But to Japan, Japan consists of Japanese people, and I don't know about like the Asian times, but Japan was built, and then it's been all Japanese people, like from the beginning to the current point in history. And it's amazing, right? Like when you think about it, all other countries, like Western, especially if you look at Europe, it's all mixed up. But over here, it's genuinely the majority are Japanese. And yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. Because even though our entire population is only one third of the US, still that's a lot of people. That's a lot of Japanese people, right? So crazy. Just imagine the US occupied by Japanese people, like one third of the US being Japanese. Crazy, right? Crazy amounts of people. Yeah. So interesting. Video is of a girl putting on an engagement ring on, then sees her future of a housewife doing work, then rejects it. Oh my gosh. Message is she's happier not being a wife. Some people think it was made by China. Uh, if it's made by China, then that's definitely about not having an international marriage, because the birth rate is declining there too. Not as bad as like it started to decline, I think. So if that happens, they have this gigantic population right now. And then if that becomes like this triangle, on the opposite way, just like Japan, if that happens, that would be much more chaotic than here. So especially because like Chinese people riot so much. In Japan, when we are frustrated, we just, complain on X. But Chinese people, they know how to protest. So it's gonna be pretty chaotic. That's interesting. You're skipping so much comments because I want to keep up with the time. Sorry. Let me scroll up if you want me to read. But if you give me super chat, I'll react instantly because I'm doing this for free. So that's what happens. I'm preparing this platform though right now for people, like if you pay a certain amount then you can talk to me kind of platform. So aside from Patreon, I'm not using Patreon very well or at all, to be honest. So I'm creating something that I can actually use. When Trump returns, he'll ban TikTok. It's poisoning the world. Yes, I want him to do that because one, of course, it's the problem of TikTok is that, of course, like Chinese influence can come in, and then also they can steal your data and so on, personal information of like all of the users in your country. That's dangerous itself. But at the same time, I think that it's not good to raise this application of your enemy. Like, why do you have to contribute to your enemy? Like, I use Facebook and Next and everything, but that's from the US. And I like the US, and also my country has a great alliance with the US. So, of course, I'm going to contribute to that. But with China, why would I want to, you know, contribute for their platform, for their money? When it comes to clothing and fashion, I unfortunately have to buy Chinese products, and I hate about it. And that's why I'm doing this political activities too, because they use like forced labor and so on, and I don't want to engage in that. And even though in the meantime, like I am not, like I don't have enough money, so like I occasionally, like when I need to buy China made in China products, which sucks, but I'm working towards it. And so that's a struggle which I have actually with gaming. I play games for many different reasons, but the problem is that I play FPS, like first person shooting game, right? A shooting game. And then the good developers are actually China. So the Call of Duty, for example, is the US, right? Supposed to be US, but then the mobile version is developed in China. So like if you completely cut the ties right now, like that kind of industry just gets influenced or destroyed at the worst case scenario too. So you have to be careful, but at the same time, like it sucks. Like if that was developed by the US, then I would give money. But right now, I'm actually playing for free because I don't want to give money to China. Like I don't know, like if it goes directly, like because it's owned by the US company, but like it's the same, right? Because they work together. So like I have to think it sucks that when politics sucks, then we have to think about all this, like consumers have to have a mind. So let's see. Good evening, Yoko. Not the Sikh liberalism they are promoting here in the US and Western society in general. In my humble opinion, it's an attempt to break down society as we know it. Not the Sikh liberalism they are promoting. Uh, I'm lost with the grammar. Sorry. Uh, attempt to break down society as like liberalism is there to break down your society. I can get that, yes. as a conservative, I know what you mean. But I'm just saying it that coming from another country, right? I can tolerate to a certain degree, but then there's this, aside, like after this point, like I cannot tolerate. That's what I'm saying. See, oh, super chat, super chat. Thank you so much again. I think China has invested a lot of money in the US game companies, so they own part of a lot of major US game companies. Yeah, they do that. They know how to invest. Even politically speaking, economically, they are investing in Africa and Southeast Asia, like global South, right? And we are now competing there. They're so like sneaky and what's the word? Like I have to say that they are actually smart when it comes to strategies like this. Like they know what to do, and I guess that's a strong element of dictatorship. Like the CCP, like if not, it's not only it's just CCP regime, but they can think by their will, right, about what to do and so forth, and they can instantly work on it, very speedy and fast. But when it comes to democracy nations, we have many process, you might like step by step by step, and it's hard to get approved. It's hard to get something approved, and also even if it's approved, like there are other steps to go on and so on, and also like even just to decide our direction, like there are lots of discussions needed, and then often it just doesn't work. So yeah, what we are fighting against is very difficult. But now that more and more people are aware about the problem of China, I think that all this decoupling is happening, so that's good. And I think that when it comes to gaming, of course, Japan can contribute a lot. So I'm really hoping that the foundation changes and that we can, you know, I think that Japan and the US make great products and um, our works and like movies and games and so on, like that sort of things. Like we make very good things together, when our powers are combined. So that's something that I want to see more. Like especially when you look at the Super Mario Brothers movie, that was such an amazing movie. It's like the idea, like original idea, of course, is coming from the Japanese game, but then the US knows how to showcase that. So that's like our great baby. And I want to see that more. We watch your country's animation to avoid woke American politics. The only problem is the Crunchyroll inserts woke politics in anime in both English dub and sub. That sucks. That's just like they don't have the rights to do that. That's not good. Mm, 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 mm. I've been watching shows from your country and Korea to avoid Western wokeness. Alice in Borderland, All of Us Are Dead, Battle Royale, High and Low series and movies, and Shimokita Glory Days. That's cool. Yeah. Test. Hmm. That's good. Yeah, like I remember, for example, like of course I'm a person, but I remember when first when I began talking about Trump, some people reached out to me, like those who saw my videos reached out to me and said that I'm their fresh air, because they can't even like comment on politics because in their own country, the US, it's because the left is very violent, and also like when it comes to workplaces, they can cause troubles, for you. And there's so people have to be quiet, but I'm seeing all these things that's happening in the US, and I was talking about it and people were like, oh, like they could breathe, so that's good. Probably, but what they really hate is straight white males that steal the show. They wanting to push feminism, people of color, sexuality backgrounds, identities. That's a good point. But I feel like though, like the current, I mean, the recent Netflix shows, they have like the blondes are pushed to the side. It's usually like it's not blonde anymore. It's usually at least one main character. The main character, the main one, is usually what I see often though. It's not. I'm not saying all, but it tend to be like a. Is it like brun? It's not brunette. What is it called? Like the white person or light colored person with um like a brown. why why is it so hard to remember? Brown hair or some other color aside from blonde. And then there's like a black lady is always there, and like they have the recently they have Asian characters as well, so that's kind of cool, seeing from my race. But still, like I'm like, can't you have a balance? Like there, some shows can still be like the main or lead actor can be a blonde. Like why do you have to like avoid that? But what you are actually avoiding is the criticism. It's not like it's what's sad is because what I wrote in the title today too, but it's the white guilt, right? They are avoiding, they are guilt based, even though they say that the left, the woke, they say that it's for the rights of other race and other like genders and so on, but in reality they're doing that out of guilt, right? They're doing that out of like this guilt consciousness, and they're not doing it from like willingness. So that's the really sad part, I think, in this, like, of this all. Mm. I have to say though that there are very cocky, like very annoying white males as well. Like Hunter Biden, for example. That's the typical problem of America, don't you think? Biden family. Then that would I would understand, but who will win Koshien and why will it be Osaka's rep? I have no idea. I'm not a baseball person, or I don't watch sports, so like I don't know at all. But it's interesting that Koshien, the baseball match, national match, is such a hot thing. I saw though, like I didn't look into it, but there was this article talking about the uniform of the cheerleader, cheer girls, what you call, like the cheer gals, like they have to wear a certain uniform to avoid, you know, the creeps taking pictures of them and so on. Like I didn't looking into it, but man. It's good. If the answer to all problems is bigger government, then the American experiment self-governance is over. Oh, I'm Hawaii. Oh, the people in Hawaii. You mean the people here? Oh, you are in Hawaii. People here help each other out without the government too much red tape. That's good to hear. It's like at the end of the day, it's about your community, right? In your neighborhood. Hmm. I feel sorry for white people that's why I go crazy for them as a woman of color and brown skin. Oh yeah. It's like for how long do the white people have to be apologetic, you know? It's so weird because for example, Japan and the US of course fought the war, right? We were enemies to each other. And we both got injured, like it's not the injured is not the right word, what's it, like we got all this loss, right? Both of our countries, but then we don't bash each other anymore. Right? Like we rather deepened our understanding and we realized that there's something to work on together. But and it's happening on a national level, right? Japan and the US, totally different countries coming together, right? Like both are they both were mad at each other, but we came together, right? But why not under one nation? Why can't the white and the black can be just be one like that? Because of course, because there are people that want to divide, but the problem is that there are those who that, you know, get carried away by that sort of manipulative maneuvers. Is it maneuvers? Hmm. So that's a problem, I think. Hmm. Like it's there, there's never an end to that, you know, like it's just there, the white guilt is there to drag your country, and who benefits from that? Your enemy countries. Hmm. Let's go down a little bit. Is lack of having kids a true worry in Japan? Yes, yes, yes. It is a problem here. But at the same time, I'm not, like, as I keep saying, it's a problem of economy because people say that aloud. You know, they write on X and everywhere that uh, they can't afford to have another baby. That's what they say. They want to have more, but they just can't afford it. That's been the problem. At the same time, though, I read in the newspaper today that our GDP, however, is growing, and I guess that it's due to our exports. You know, because yen is weak now. That means that other countries can buy our stuff more. So then our economy is kind of, you know, it's good in a way when it comes to exports. So that's the silver lining of this. At the same time, what's interesting is that very recently, just the other day, China lifted the ban on group tourism to Japan. I think that they did that to the US too. But yeah, and one expert from here was pointing out that they did that because of the domestic problem. Like, I mean, the economy in China is bad, so they have to use other countries, you know, the tourism to get things going. And so that I read something like that. So I was like, oh, you know, what's common about China and Russia, I realize, is that it's the dictatorship. So of course the number and everything are manipulated, right? Like it's not completely like entirely a lie, but they tend to um show things better than it actually is. So we have to calculate that part away and then see what's going on. But still, like, they can't um fully hide things. And even though, for example, my new friends, regarding the war by Russia, like, we are talking about how Russia is spreading the propaganda saying that it's a big one country and that they can destroy Ukraine easily or something like that. But then there are Russians inside of Russia that are fighting against Putin regime. And some even goes out of Russia. Russians go out of Russia and joins Ukraine and then fight against Putin regime. So that's what's happening. And if you look at, I know that people in other countries don't use this scale, but we Japanese look at things with one of the measurements that we have is GDP. And when you look at GDP, the world GDP, then Russia is very low. Aren't they like the 11th or so, probably? So it's not as big as you think. The continent is large, but it doesn't mean that, and they have resources there, but it doesn't mean that the country itself is big. So, and same for China is big, and now their power is so huge that the US cannot ignore. And now the about over the world hegemony, China and the US are competing, and it's at that level. But then you start hearing about all this problem happening in China, like all this economic problem, and there people are frustrated due to COVID-19, the policies that the CCP had. People were frustrated, so there is that. And then the birth rate began to decline, and so like all this problem are starting to happen now. So yeah. Well, I don't know why this question led to that or what I talked about, but I just thinking. Uh, Super chat. Thank you so much for your super chat. We Greeks are not white, but they try to white guilt us. Oh no! But that's interesting because to me, like when I hear about all these European countries, I can't tell the race because I'm so ignorant when it comes to Europe and so on. Hmm. What is that race though? What is Greek? Initiation. Oh, okay. Is it mixed? Oh, and it says that the ancient Greeks and the modern Greeks are different. Huh. Like, is this guilt imprints, In Japan, it's war guilt, the World War II. Oh, Japan was bad, invading other countries and blah, blah, blah. They never say that about other, like, Western nations. They were colonizing Asia too, and then we were fighting back. That's our standpoint, but they don't talk about it like that. And then Japan is a bad guy because we lost the war, and that's the history that the winners wrote. And so we are imprinted all this war guilt. And at the same time, in the US, it's war guilt, I mean, white guilt, and it seems it's spreading to the world. Hmm. Mediterranean. Why is it so difficult? Mediterranean. できた。地中海メディタリアン。メディ Gosh, I gotta get smarter. That's such a big word. Med Mediterranean. 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 Okay, got it. Mediterranean. This is how I study English. I'm like, gotta, pull the dictionary out and then hear the pronunciation. I have to say it at the same time. Mediterranean. 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 Pew, pew, pew. Why are you laughing? Let's give Yoko hard versus Yoshi. That's mean. That's mean, man. Oh, come on. But I can. I'm proud though that when it comes to my own language, I can read. Like for example, like when I read newspaper, I can read really fast. Like by even though like in a first glimpse, like if I just look at it, I can read very fast. Some people can't do that. But I can do that. I'm like my reading is supposed to be good. Huh. And also like when I speak in Japanese, I can speak clearly if my professional button is turned on. Not everyone can do that. Naomi Osaka is half Japanese and black. She absolutely hates her non-black side. I know, right? Many Japanese people hate her. Seriously, because the problem is not her skin color, but her attitude and lack of understanding. Yes, exactly. Like she hates Japan, you know, and by her attitude, she's making more and more enemies here on this. Those who are hate her. Like the number increases as she does them more. So, but there are though, like for example, when it comes to Ukraine, there are two Ukrainian very smart men here living in Japan, two Ukrainian guys. They speak perfect Japanese. And like I sometimes forget that they are Ukrainians. It's so silly when you think about it because they are here to fight for their country, right? Like, giving us information and so on. But then I forget because they're so like mingled in our society. They understand our culture very well, like our cultural values. They understand it and then make comments. So then we forget about the difference. They look completely different from us, but we forget, you know, like we are together. That's how we feel. And same for some agents here that are fighting against CCP. I sometimes forget that we come from different places, even though we are fighting for our own nation state. um I don't know, it might be just me, but I just forget. But when it comes to Naomi Osaka, for example, she doesn't, it's not about the Japanese language level, that of course she doesn't speak Japanese to begin with, but um I guess that it's that she doesn't even attempt to do it. And then like we just don't feel any Japaneseness from her. So yeah, my sons are so mixed: Japanese, Okinawan, Filipino, English, and Irish. That sounds like a good looking good looking mixture. uh, that's so cool. I think that we do need, I think, in my opinion, we do need like mixed people so that we can bring our countries together. It's all about the ratio though. Like as for Japan, for example, like some other states are different, but Japan consists of Japanese people, and this is a Japan that I want to conserve. So that's part of the what I'm fighting for. But it was interesting that when I attended the forum, like post Russia forum, there was this guy from Ingria, and he's I guess that he uh oh, super chat. Oh, there super chat. Sorry, I'll get to that. So Ingria man, he's Jewish, he said, but then he is from Ingria, like he was born and raised in Ingria, like where Putin is from, actually, St. Petersburg. And then, but he says that the concept of the country is not like blood or race based. It's not about that. It's about people just being there, and then they have their own values different from ours. So that was very, very interesting. And I have to learn more about Ingria. Like if Putin's hometown gets independent, from Russia, that would be so great. Anyway, Superchat, thank you so much. Also, a Ukrainian kitsune girl that married a turtle. What is that? What are you talking about? Is there a story like that, or is it a real story? What? I'm confused. Thank you for your super chat, though. Can you repeat what you said? Something about super chats will have us talk to you personally on Patreon. Oh. I haven't fully established the platform. I'm working on it right now, and it's going to be published soon as they permits. Right now, I'm waiting for the approval, but it's meant for Japanese people, but that service is something that the registrations might be in Japanese only, and it might be difficult, but I think that you can do it too. So that's why I'm bringing it out. So yeah, super chat. The thing about super chat is that I see all these comments lined up, and super chat is something I notice instantly and comment on, because this is a free show. Like, I'm giving you all this information and inputs for free, and this is what I do, and I need to make a living. So I'm gonna react to super chat very fast, and yeah, that's what I have to do as a job. And the platform, though, is another thing, and yeah, it's gonna be this on it's gonna be on another platform, and you have to get registered, and so on. Sorry if I'm confusing you. Please include us English speakers. We have a lot to share with you. Yeah, I'm hoping that the community will be international too. It'll be nice to if my Japanese viewers or followers get connected to you directly too. It could cause problems too, though. Like, who knows? Like, if you internationally communicate, sometimes there are lots of debates, that happen. But I have the power there, so I can control, I guess. Yes, they're handsome. That's awesome. Yeah. I can be basically, I'm a composer, just not no outside of music score community. What were you talking about? Oh, you were talking to one of the viewers, I guess. Yoko, I must confess, I don't like the Japanese prime minister. He's as charismatic as a wet towel. Kishida is actually doing way better. Our prime minister is doing way better than I expected. I didn't expect that this administration would last this long. I thought that it would end quickly, but that's not the case. He, as a politician, he's very know how to work effectively. He knows how to protect his political life, and also he knows how to get people's support. So when it comes to scandals, he ends quickly. Like, even like he had to fire his own son, who was his secretary, He did that very quickly, like handling very well. And also, our opposition parties are very weak right now. There are lots of scandals, or there are many points that you can push, but, or all this, you can bash LDP more, but the opposition parties are not doing that. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. But Kishida is just a typical prime minister of LDP. He's not bad as he's not as bad as I expected. Like, whoever else does the job will be the same or even worse. So at least for Kishida, he is carrying on the legacy. For his own sake, but he is using all this legacy that the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe left us. All this global scale of diplomacy and everything, and national security. He knows how to get around, and I guess that sometimes it's what the leader needs. So it's not like he decides. It's not like he's a leader, but it's a Japanese version of a leader. He's just there, and he's doing what he should do, instead of what he wants to do, and he's just in the system. Oh, have a great night. Oh, you're going to sleep? Oh, actually, I have to go. It's been an hour. Just answering your questions. Okay. Oh yes, Discord server, yes. And if the um if the service or platform that I'm like applying to right now is slow, then I'm gonna just do it by myself with YouTube. What's called membership. Yeah, there's YouTube membership, and I'm not using it. I can have that, but I'm not using it. So maybe I should use that. But then YouTube takes away a lot of money. So that's why I'm trying with another service. It's my nickname for some reason. My friends like to call me Donnie. Donnie girl. My name is Dawn. I see. Man, there's a game called Undawn. It's another like China developed game, but I have to be honest, like that game is very well made and I'm enjoying it. I play COD Mobile, and Arena Breakout. It first came from Russia. It came from Tarkov, and it's a mobile version. Arena Breakout, and then Undawn. Just remembered by your name, Undawn. But Undawn consists of, it's like the mixture of PUBG Mobile, and Days Gone, and then some like battle royale type of game. I was thinking of something else too. Like it's like a mixture of 3 different games. China. I believe it's China. Like sometimes gaming companies are so like, it's hard to tell where it's from. But anyway. Abe was the last true prime minister of Japan. There might be a new one, like Sanae Takaichi. But inside LDP, there are lots of politics going on, inside the party. So, but at the same time, I don't know if it's good or bad, but the internet has power now. Our politicians are very careful about what's going on on social media and so on. They care so much, and so our voices are reflected. It's only good when our people are smart. Sometimes our stupid criticism can lead to stupid results, so that's something I want to avoid, but I can't control the mass. But But the conservatives, by the way, conservatives and internet right wings, they want Sanae Takaichi, to the female politician, to be our next prime minister. So that's our second dream. Like all this Shinzo Abe supporters now shifted to Sanae Takaichi. It's so perfectly just slided. Yes, yes. Yes. Yoko, remember to mention your art for sale. That's so true. My art is on sale. There are two pieces I recently drew just by pen, inked pen, but I drew it like spiritually. When I draw, draw without any outlines beforehand and so on. I sometimes have a kind of image too, and I draw, and then it can turn into something completely different too. But I think that the recent works of mine are bird and what's the other one? Fox, I think fox. There are two pieces, and it's on Etsy. I feel like some people were opposing to Etsy as a platform, like politically, but I just use what I can use because, you just have to get things done. So I believe I put the link in the description box, so please check that out. And it's not like of course in my mind I'm an artist, and a musician, but then I don't know about how the public sees me, but I'm just doing this to my political viewers, because that's a good way that you give donations for me, but I give you in return something in return, basically. So that can work like that. So if you can, please buy my art. And thank you, John, for reminding me. I'm not good at, this sales talk. I forget. Yeah, like not to mention just, you gotta subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Yeah, yeah. Mm. After years of stealing other people's work, I have to admit China is starting to make good games. Yes, exactly. Even animation too. Chinese people come here to learn anime and takes back all the technology and so on, and voila. They create something cool. Let's say China. China. The way that Trump says China. China. It would be nice to see your samurai friend as a guest on your stream sometime. Samurai? I don't have samurai friends. Do I? But I need to bring my husband on the live stream. I don't play games. The only problem with Mario Bros. Movie is Peach. Oh yeah, yeah. I had a problem with Peach too, but it's just reflecting the current society. I think Stephanie been a strong woman instead of a sweetheart, dumb shell in this distress where Mario is supposed to rescue her. Yes, yes, exactly. Like I enjoyed that version too, but still, like, yeah, the whole story is about Mario rescuing her, so like the whole picture was different. Yes, but then you gotta sell in this world, and this world is very left biased, so I guess that's what happens. I swear I'm watching and listening, Yoko. That's cool. Oh yeah. Princess Todd Todd Toadstool? I have no idea. To know. Anyway, I gotta go. Man, I could talk to you forever, but one day I feel like I should do like hours of live stream. just to have fun and connect with you. Because I did that with like I do that every time there's a presidential election. By every time I mean only two, I guess, right? 2016 and 20, yeah. But that's always fun. So Stormworks, I see. Yeah, I enjoy war games because I think one of I have many reasons that I play games, but one of the reasons is because I want to learn. Like I want to be familiar with all this war situation. Like COD Mobile, it's very much like a game, and you don't learn much, but you get to learn about weapons, like all this how guns work. There are lots of what you call like gunsmith, like you can put all this stuff on your guns, and like so like even though it's not realistic, still like they on a mobile version, the real version is great, very precise, but I guess but mobile version is very much it's a game, but still like I'm completely like I had no knowledge, but because I'm familiar with the game now, like I know I kind of have a good image of how it works, and also all this like rocket launcher and cluster bombs and all this names that you hear in wars and so on. When I look at the war in Ukraine, um like sometimes the things that they have as the weapon, like I can tell what it does by looking at it because I play the game, you know what I mean? So like they have all this uh launcher and they have it on shoulder. I'm like, oh, I know what it does, so that's cool. And also I'm playing Arena Breakout a little bit, like it's a Russian made game but Chinese mobile version. And uh, it's not only China. I guess that there are other developers, like they're combined, but still, like it's a Russian minded game, and also it's like it's very realistic. That once you die, you lose everything, but then in order to sustain your body or health state, you have to take care of your body too while you are in a raid. So like you learn a lot of perspectives playing the game, and you can connect that knowledge with what's happening in the world. So it's cool. Anyway, anyway, ganao. I'm old. They only refer to Peach as Princess Toadstool when I was a kid. Oh, interesting. I know only peachy, peachy. In Japanese, you have to put the like a last vowel. Is it vowel? It's not peach. It's peachy. Okay. Thanks, Yoko, and disappearing producer Hidech. Thank you. I think he's in the next room because he doesn't like the air conditioner for some reason. I love this like cool air, but he doesn't. Bottle beats. Okay, I gotta check that out. And he doesn't sound like the cute. Well, I guess you gotta cry. If I had $1 for every time a country leader named Abe gets assassinated, I'd have $2. But it's strange that it happened twice. Huh. Oh yeah. Oh, because recently president was assassinated, right? It's crazy times that we live in. I'm black. I know you usually vouch and speak for whites in America or in defense of whites. Would you prefer people like me? No, living in Japan. No. That's not the point that I'm making. I'm saying that it's not fair to white people that the white guilt is imposed and they have to stay apologetic for forever. And I'm like, why? You know, like, okay, so the US bombed us twice, like atomic bombs, and then air raids every day by B-20, like on a daily basis. Our country was burnt down entirely. That was our country, you know, in war. And then do we have to bash America for forever? We don't do that. Like all this guilt imprint is a problem. That's what I'm saying. And so the way that you see me that way, just because I fight against the guilt imprint, I'm judged as like somebody that praise white people. Like that's the problem, I think, in this world today. That I'm against like all this like political tactic. I'm referring to political tactic because I can tell what's happening. All this guilt imprint and division by that, caused by that and so on. That's what all these powers that want to weaken your country and eventually to destroy and beat your country. That's what they're doing. So you have to be careful. That's what I'm saying. And as a Japanese, I'm open to all foreign people, like all this different cultural background, religious background. I am friends with, like, literally, I'm not exaggerating. It's so crazy that I do have friends in the world, through my activities, through the fight against CCP regime, and like meaning China. And also recently I made friends, a lot of friends, like at least from 41 nation states, regarding the Russia's invasion to Ukraine. And then the supporters of the movement, against China and against Russia, there are supporters from other countries too. So then I'm connected to them also. And I'm truly their friends, and I know where, of course, like we all have like a different like standpoints. So sometimes our ideas conflict, but we are working towards the same goal and same ideal picture. So we work together, and I don't have any racial issues there. You know what I mean? And when it comes to my country, I do think that sometimes I know the conservatives hate it, but for example, like Tibetans, for example, I want to accept some of them to here and give them the rights, but they want to go back. Like some people are skeptical when you say that, but that becomes like a hostage basically politically against China. So like you have to work like that in politics. So like I'm very open to a lot of ideas. So people who usually speak out against white guilt say whites need power again, or under attack. Usually like blacks, no whites, at least in America. I don't know about Japan. Yeah, I guess that it's difficult to see with like to understand like people from different cultural background, because Japanese people, for example, we love foreign people, even those who are living here, but only when they, you know, respect our rules. Once they don't follow our rules, we call them foreigners, like get out, foreigners, get out. So that happens. So it's not really about the race, because it happens within our circle as well. Like inside of the Japanese community, when people are stupid, we're gonna call their name out and then exclude from our community. So that's just what happens. So, and Japanese mind, just to be sure, is that we're Japanese people, like Japan itself, the country, we have so-called emperor, who we call Tenno, and he is our symbol. He's been our symbol. Like we have many, like why is it like over 100 generations, but he's our symbol. And even though he does have a certain power in our country, but his job is to be there for us, and he's like our big daddy basically. Right, like he's a father, and we're all this, we come from the same roots, from like the ultimate existence is our God, but it's all coming from the same roots, and we're a big family, so that means that we are all equal. And yeah, it's bloodline, but at the same time we are very tolerant, unlike the impression that people outside of Japan have. We are very tolerant and open to like other races, other religions, other cultures, and we always swallowed everything that we encounter to make them part of us, and that's how we prospered. So it's but when it comes to like Americans, for example, that are against white guilt, I think that the religious background is very powerful, in human minds, and all this, they believe in one God, and ex- and others are wrong, right? Basically, those who don't follow that religion, they're wrong, and that's the ideology. I mean, not ideology, it's the background that they have, because they believe in that structure. And so those who don't get into that system, it's bad. So like they, once they fight against white guilt and so on, the same kind of mentality works. That's how I see, but in Japan we believe in everything and everyone. So that doesn't happen, if you know what I mean. It's so hard to verbalize all these things. Sorry if there are misunderstandings or if I'm not verbalizing well. I'm trying my best though. Just so you know, black people are seen as very cool people, by the majority of Japanese people. Like, some people want to be black too. The black fashion and rap and like all this. I know that it's stereotypical, but some people really love, like especially guys want to be like black people. So, and some Japanese girls, of course, they get married with black people as well. So, hmm. I know what you mean though by all your comments. Trust me, I know what you mean. Yes. I don't know why that. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but the Christianity, Judaism, was it? Like Jewish people, and also Islam. If you believe in one God, then it's about this power or that power. It's like it becomes very not what is it called? Gosh, a dualism occur with that kind of like religious background. Or by religious background, I mean like your thought process becomes like that. What you're taught with. So that's what happens. I think that's how I see it. That's my analysis, my personal analysis. So it doesn't mean that it's correct, but I just think so. That's the impression that I have. Yeah, so it's like this or that. This is good and others are bad. But in Japan there's no good or bad. It's just we understand the stories, of each. So there's no good or bad, if you know what I mean. um Anyway, I gotta go, man. It's been a long live stream. I have to go. Yeah, next week let's get together again and continued our chatting. It's yeah, I really enjoy receiving comments. It's so interesting. Thank you so much. uh, Hawaiian mix. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, we have to look into that sort of stuff too, because I think, yeah, regions have Like, I mean, like there are lots of sorry, like Japanese are so totally the opposite, when it comes to grammar from English. But yes, it's a like the US especially has all this like regional differences, so it depends on the region too. Like, yeah, it's what I've realized doing by doing all these political activities is that when you refer to your country, like, oh, the US or Japan, oh, Japan is this and that, you talk like that. But if you learn more and more about your own country, you realize that there are lots of difference, among your own people, and the country that you are referring to is only within the range of your sight. Like you have to see all of the world to actually refer to what you're referring to. You have to see the word first. Yeah. Tolerance and assimilation skills. Yeah. Well, for you, yes. Uh, okay. Let me go. Okay. Thanks again, Yoko and co-producer. Gotta go. Sorry for not being able to take up all the comments. Thank you. I really appreciate all the comments. I really enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. ありがとうございます. Thank you. Aloha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good stream. Thank you. You too. Thank you. Okay. Oh, company. Okay. Uh, that's that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for sticking out with me. Let's hang out. Not tomorrow. I almost said tomorrow. Next week around the same time. Okay. Gotta go, man. Thank you. Thank you. My husband is waiting, so gotta go. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay. Thank you again. See you next week. Bye.